The good life, full of fun, seems
Hey guys,
to
welcome to my
be the
kitchen.
ideal.
Another big crazy day in my kitchen. Let me go over why. First and foremost, Frank Sinatra Swingin' Sessions, 1952. So no matter what you make in the kitchen, it's gonna come out awesome because Frank Sinatra's playing. All right, number two, we're gonna make a great dish today. So one of the most popular dishes in, if you will, that Italian-American culture, are you ready? Eggplant Parmesan. This recipe's a little bit of Mom, a little bit of Nona, and a little bit of Cooking Italian with Joe. Oh! All right, forget about it. You know what I'm saying? Hey. All right, enough of the build-up. Let's get cooking. So let's go over ingredients. First and foremost, center stage, name on the marquee, right? The headliner here is going to be our eggplant. So I've got here about 3 pounds of eggplant. Now a couple of really quick tips on eggplant. Number one, you want to get something as best as you can uniformed in diameter. So sometimes you'll see an eggplant's really narrowed on one side and really big on the other. That's a problem. Why? Because we're going to cut this in discs and stack it. So we want everything to be as uniform as we possibly can, okay? So I've got 2 medium to large eggplant, about 1.5 pounds each. Next, we're gonna need some sauce. Now in this case, when we talk about sauce, I've got a great recipe on Cooking Italian with Joe on one of our other videos on how to make sauce. You can also go on our website, cookingitalianwithjoe.com. You can get any of our recipes on there. Now our recipe's fantastic, it's delicious. Obviously everybody's sauce is their best, right? The world's best. It's what you grew up with, it's what's delicious, right? It's what you became known to associate love with your family with. So it's great. So use your own sauce recipe. You don't have to use mine, but you want some really good sauce. Next, we're gonna want a really good coating on the eggplant, and we wanna add flavor, but we wanna add texture. So I'm gonna show you what I did here. I've got 2 cups of flavored Italian breadcrumbs. And then I'm gonna add 1 cup of panko breadcrumbs. And let me tell you why. There's an element of texture that it brings to the crunch, to the texture of your eggplant. So there's no other way to reproduce it. So to add a little extra texture in there, we're gonna add the panko with the Italian breadcrumbs. All right, what else we've got going here? We're gonna want some parsley. Now I don't need this much parsley, but when I was laying this out, I just thought it looked beautiful, so that's why I put it on there. So you're just gonna want a little parsley, like a small pinch of parsley. We're gonna use that we're gonna chop that up, and we're gonna use that for making as we stack the Parmesan, but we're also gonna use that for a finished garnish. Next, you're gonna want 3 whole eggs, and that looks just great. That looks just delicious. I always recommend get a free-range organic egg. That way they're fed and they're out there in the free range running around. You're always gonna get a better flavor in your egg, which is so critical to this recipe and along with any cooking. Next, you're gonna want 1/2 cup of whole milk. We're gonna want some Parmesan cheese, Parmesan Reggiano. Hey, how you doing? Hey, you got some cheese? So we're gonna want about 3/4 cup of grated Parmesan cheese. So I just got this from the store, fantastic. We're gonna want about 1 pound of mozzarella cheese. One of those little tips. You know, I love to give those little tips. I'm gonna add this right here. Oh, it's great. It's got a little raw edge on there from grinding it. So that's a nutmeg. So I'm gonna add just a pinch of nutmeg to the cheeses. So when I start layering that cheese, it just brings a real depth of earthiness and flavor and that rustic feel to this dish. We're gonna want freshly ground pepper. Why? Once you grind pepper, it dries out. The oils bring you the flavor. You want fresh ground pepper. You're gonna want some salt. We're gonna use pink Himalayan. Pink Himalayan and French sea salt is more briny. It's not refined, so it doesn't give you that abrupt bite to the palate, and it's earthy. And as you guys know, it's sexy, you know what I'm saying? And then this recipe calls for some olive oil, and you're gonna want extra virgin, and you're gonna want something delicious, so why wouldn't you use high quality, some of the world's best olive oil? Fortunately for you, I have a farm, if you're new to our channel, in Italy. It's right above the heel. It's in Puglia, Italy, a little village called Vico del Gargano. And we co-op with a whole group of farms to bring you some of the best olive oil you're ever going to have. It's called Vito and Joe's, after my two boys. And the oil it's grassy, it's earthy, it's full-bodied, it's peppery. And if you go right on our Facebook page or the link right below the video, or you go right to our website, Cooking Italian with Joe, you click Buy It Now, and we can literally drop ship it right to your front doorstep, and I call it a trip to Italy right in a bottle. Okay, I went over recipe title, went over all the ingredients, plugged the olive oil, as always. What do you say we get cooking? All right, I'll talk to you guys in a minute. First thing we want to do here is we want to prep our eggplant. So what I'm going to do is start cutting these guys up. A bit of advice here, we're going to want to go with a thicker slice, because it's going to taste a whole lot better. And I want to taste the eggplant. I don't want to have just cheese and breadcrumbs. So I'm going to cut that top off here. I'm going to cut the end off on this side. And then what I'm going to do, bit of advice here, is I want to put a couple of slices through the eggplant, real slight. Just go through the skin, essentially. Now, why do I do that? Because I'm not going to peel the eggplant, and when I eat it, I don't want to have a big string of skin. And now I'm going to cut this right down. I'm going to go here about 1/2 inch. And that is absolutely perfect, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and cut these up. I'll talk to you in a minute. Now what we want to do is we want to prep them, and we want to drain out that moisture from the eggplant. So this is my go-to always. So whether you're going to use a rack, is always the best way to do it, or a baker's rack or what have you. What I want to do right now is I want to get the moisture out of the eggplant. So when I cook them, I get a lot more of the flesh flavor. It's not going to kick off a lot of the breading, and it's going to taste a whole lot better. So I'm going to spread these on my rack. Now I'm going to take my pink Himalayan and I'm going to spread it on my eggplant. So I'm going to let this set about 25 minutes while I prep the breadcrumbs. I'm going to start with adding my flavored breadcrumbs. Now I'm going to add my panko breadcrumbs. Now I'm going to add just a little bit of salt. And I definitely want to add some pepper here. Now I want to add a good teaspoon. Next, I'm going to add some Parmesan cheese. This is a great little tip because it's going to flavor the breading. And when you fry it, it's going to give you just an extra depth of cheese flavor. So you figure I'm going to add about 3 tablespoons. And then I'm going to add just a pinch of my nutmeg here. And again, not a lot, just a bit, about 1/8 teaspoon. Now I'm going to give this a stir with my fork. Next, what I'm going to do is get that dredge going. So I want to get my eggs ready. Tap your egg on a side. Now I'm going to give this a good scramble. And I find if I mix this up first, it's a lot easier when you add your milk. I'm going to add just a pinch of salt, and I'm going to add some black pepper to it. Next prep is getting our Parmesan cheese going. So I'm going to use almost this whole wedge of cheese. Guys, our Parmesan cheese is set. Now I'm going to go into my mozzarella. Now I've got a bigger grater. Guys, Parmesan cheese is done. The mozzarella is done. Listen, I just want to assure everybody, don't get nervous. Quality control, Joe Borio's on the case. Everything tastes great. Guys, it's been about an hour. You're going to see some water that came out of there. Do you see that? Which is great. And I flipped them over, salted the other side. What we want to do now is we want to rinse that salt off to prep it for our breading. All right, let's get bread. Egg wash, give it a shake, breadcrumbs, and give it a good push. Gently give it a shake and then set it right on our plate. How good does that look, right? Looks like cookies or eggplant deliciousness. Now, my best advice for you when we're frying here is we're gonna take a cast iron pan. I like the higher sides or a higher cast iron like I've got here. I've got 2 going just because of the quantity of eggplant that I gotta cook. Second thing, I always prefer the white enamel because you can get a really good contrast of when things are done. I've got my rack here to put them when they're done. I want to show you a little tip on that as well. I'm going to need something to get them out of the hot oil. So this basket works absolutely perfect. Couple other tips to make these come out absolutely delicious. One, we're going to want our oil around 325, no more than 350 degrees. I prefer to use extra virgin olive oil. Where would I get that? I know, another plug, Vito and Joe's. Next, you got to subscribe to this channel. Why aren't you subscribed to the channel at this point? So you hit that red button right there, and what it does is, hey, any recipes I got coming out a couple times a month, any trips I've got going to Italy, anything I got going on with my farm, we do a blog, and it means a lot to me when you subscribe to the channel. And hey, makes you part of the family, you know what I'm saying? And last, come on, why haven't you bought some oil yet? What's the matter for you? Hey! All right, so let's get fried some eggplant. So we're going to place everything in there real gentle. You can see the oil's perfect temp. We're gonna go till golden brown. Been about a minute and a half. Oh, see that? And we're gonna wanna cook these until they're tender. Okay guys, it's been a couple of minutes. We are good to go. So I'm gonna pull these out of the hot oil and I'm gonna lay them on my rack. And now for one of those perfect cooking Italian with Joe tips, while they're hot, just give them a light sprinkle of the Parmesan cheese. When I talk about aroma, guys, this kitchen is filled with the aroma, the perfume, as they say in Italiano, of my mom's cucina, my mom's kitchen. Absolutely delicious. We're gonna need to get that oven going, 375 degrees. Now let's start having some fun. So first I'm gonna take a spoon and I'm gonna put some sauce, and we're gonna just spread it right in the bottom of our pan here. Homemade sauce makes anything taste good, let's just be honest. All right, now what we're gonna do is we're gonna put down our first layer of eggplant. And we're good. I'm gonna hit it with a very light dusting of Parmesan cheese. Now I'm gonna take my mozzarella and I'm gonna put some on each layer. I'm gonna go really light. I mean, just a couple of sparkles here of parsley. With my nutmeg, again, really slight, like just a teeny little bit of a grind. All right, next I'm gonna go with another layer of sauce. So just put some sauce, a tablespoon, and then I'm gonna take another row of eggplant. The key here is to push down the middle because I don't wanna have a big bump in the middle as I'm building these. And now we're just gonna repeat the process. Guys, I'm on my top layer. I've got 4. And then I'm gonna top it off with some sauce on the top of each one. I'm not gonna put parsley on the top layer because it'll burn. We're gonna go about 35 to 40 minutes. My favorite time, I'll tell you the aroma in here, holy molto Italiano, you know what I'm saying? All right, so I'm gonna grab a piece. It's still pretty hot. My recommendation is to let it cool way down. Oh my God, look at that. Gooey deliciousness. Boy, guys, does that bring you home? Oh, that is good. I'm gonna cut right through there. You should have just some beautiful layers that you do. It's so hot that it's not gonna stay together as it will when it cools. I'm thinking I got the perfect bite right there. What do you think? It smells like Italy right there. That is awesome. The first thing that comes out of here is the eggplant. It's meaty, it's tender. Then you get the cheese, the flavor of the olive oil, a beautiful texture of the breadcrumbs because some of it's a little soft now. And you still get some of that crunch, Parmesan cheese, and then you got that mozzarella cheese, which is all the way through. It's got that delicious goo, which is just married with every flavor in there, right? Sauce, and now I just get a hint of the parsley, just a hint. Every bite is flavor, every bite. Guys, thanks so much for joining me for a great recipe in our kitchen today. Remember, red button right there. Boom, you hit it, you subscribe to the channel, and I'll tell you, it means a lot to me when you subscribe to the channel, and hey, makes it part of the Borio family. Guys, I want to bring you something special in your kitchen right there. If you hit the link right below or go to our Facebook page or our web page, Cooking Italian with Joe, just click and buy it now. We'll drop ship you a bottle of extra virgin Italian Vito and Joe's olive oil right to your front doorstep. As I always say, it's a trip to Italy right in a bottle. Guys, one of the most important things that I could share with you in any of my videos is at least once a week, shut off the television, shut off the computer, get everybody's cell phone, put it in a basket, right? Take it away from them, get around the table, celebrate your heritage, tell stories, share your history with your family, burn stuff, make a mess, make the most delicious recipe. Here's a great one right here. Hey guys, those traditions you set with your kids and your family, they'll last them a lifetime. I know they did for me. Hey, from my kitchen to yours, until next week, mwah, bon appetito.
Full of fun seems to be the